Hey, what is happening? Welcome back to another video. I think I'm live right now. Hopefully the stream health is pretty good. Yep, I'm live. Okay, alright, so let's get started here. Of course, to all the newcomers, welcome to the channel. As I'm seeing, the channel is growing, and it's just nice to get new people here all the time, so welcome to all the newcomers. As you guys may have known by now, live streams do take place 7:30 p.m. on the weekdays, Central Standard Time, and then at 2 p.m. on the weekends. So there you have it with that. Anyways, let's get started into the first topic for today. I just wanted to touch base on this because it is an official announcement. So that's why I wanted to touch about this, but then we'll get into the pre-match preview. So let's get started. And bear with me, maybe the computer's a little bit slow. No, it's fast today, actually. It's very, very fast. So yeah, Cristo has officially been sold now. This is according to several reports throughout the internet, I guess. So Cristo has been sold to Udinese for 1.5 million euros. Very, very measly sum, you can say. But you know what? There's a few stipulations that do favor Real Madrid. In part that we do have a buyback clause for him. And I think we do have precedence over other clubs in terms of if Udinese were to sell him, then we can get him back. We'd be the first in the queue to get him back. So I think that's very good, very sagacious decision from the president. Cristo needs some minutes, and is he going to get him at Real Madrid? You have Jovic, you have Mariano, you have Benzema. I don't think he's going to get him. So I think this is good for Cristo, especially considering, he's not going to get much playing time in Real Madrid. Yeah, you could play him in Real Madrid Castilla, but to be honest, this is a very good move for him. I think overall, like I said, very sagacious from Florentino Perez. A few seasons ago, you could see the potential in him. I think he had 11 goals and 3 assists and 35 appearances. So he was doing pretty good. You could see there was something in there. But it was last season really where his numbers just proliferated. I think he got 20 goals and 9 assists or something in the course of like 30 appearances. So overall, he was really good last season. Maybe some of you guys did watch him. Let me know what you guys think of Cristo. Because personally, I don't know much about him. I don't know what he's like. From what I've heard, he's good on the ball. He's speedy, good finishing. 21 goals in 30 games for the Real Madrid Castilla. That's pretty good. Pretty good numbers for sure. But we did see Raul de Tomas, I think, get those numbers. We saw Mariano get those numbers. So, it's just about fulfilling that potential or transferring those numbers to a higher league, I guess. So we'll just have to see with Cristo. But from what I heard, he's a very good player. Very good player. So let's get started into the match preview. He's on my team on FIFA, says Premier Paper. Yeah, that's how it is on FIFA, huh? What do you think of him? Is he fast? Let's see. So the next thing I want to talk about is going to be, of course, the match preview. So this is going to be the starting lineup for the match preview. This is what I think will be the starting lineup. I might get this wrong. I might totally mess this up. It's my first one, so of course, bear with me. Still have to learn the trade, but there you have it. This is going to be my predicted lineup. I don't think, let me move out of the way here. So I don't think Zinedine Zidane will do too many changes. I know he'll do a few changes, but I don't think he will do too many. So Premier Paper says, FIFA says he has a lot of potential. There you go, Cristo. Hopefully in the next coming years we can see that because, from what I've heard, very, very good. So there you have it. Okay, so yeah, that's the starting lineup. What do you guys think? Is this the starting lineup? Do you think he will go with something else? Please, of course, do let me know. I think we will see Hazard starting. Like I said, I don't think he'll be making too many changes, especially that we're playing. David Jr. says, I think Jovic and Mendy will start. I was thinking that too. I was thinking especially Luke Jovic just because, obviously the Bayern Munich do play in the Bundesliga. So I was really having these ambivalent feelings or ambivalent thoughts about who's going to start, but I did choose Benzema. But we might see Luka Jovic. For Marcelo, I think Marcelo will start, but Mendy might start too. It is a preseason friendly. Obviously, Zidane will be looking to experiment with the squad. So we'll just have to see, I guess. But there you have it. Like I said, Courtois, I think he's going to be starting tomorrow. Obviously, he's going to be the first team goalkeeper for us in the coming years. Navas, obviously, just getting a little bit older. I think he still had a few years left in him personally, Keylor Navas. But I guess the president decided otherwise. He bought Courtois. And there you have it. But you know what? Courtois, let's back him this season. He's been a top goalkeeper at whatever club he's been at. So we'll just have to back him this season because there's definitely a top goalkeeper in there. We've seen it at Atletico Madrid. We've seen it at Chelsea. Atletico Madrid, he won a La Liga trophy. At Chelsea, I think he won 2 Premier League trophies. Like I said, very, very good goalkeeper in there. And we just have to see it this season. And then for the midfield, you have Modric, Isco, Cruz. Casemiro won't be playing in this game. I think he's just on an extended break. There's a few players that won't be playing, I think. There's Casemiro. There's James Rodriguez. Jesus Vallejo. I think Jesus Vallejo's, I don't know what it is, extended break or something. Not sure. Militao, I didn't see it. I'm not sure if he's in the squad. And Brahim Diaz is out with a hamstring injury. Let me check. Is Militao in the team? I don't know, actually. I didn't see him in the team. There was no one that said he was injured or not, so I really don't know. It's kind of odd, actually. I didn't see anything about Militao, so, and especially that he played Copa America this summer. Maybe we might not see him, but we'll just have to see. So I want to get started in the press conference, actually, and what Zidane had to say. So we'll get started in that pretty shortly. Let me just pull that up. There you go. Okay. So Zidane's press conference, what he had to say. The first thing, of course, was he pretty much thanked all the reporters. He said, "Thank you for the condolences for my brother." Sad, and it is a really sad thing, what happened to Zinedine Zidane. I think someone told me that not that they saw it coming, but that Zinedine Zidane, he kind of knew about it beforehand, that there was, I guess, how can you say it? He did know about it a little bit before. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but it's still very, very tough to deal with that. Maybe, having it not as sudden, of course, always, I wouldn't say appeases, but it certainly does help in one way or another. He got to see him before he passed away, but just such a tragic event. You could just see it when he was giving out the press conference, and when he said that specifically, that he was just very kind of sad, kind of dismal about the whole situation. But it is what it is, I guess. It is part of life, I guess. Death is inevitable. So, okay, let's get started into the questions. So the first question that I was able to glean from the press conference is, what are your feelings towards tomorrow's game? He said, of course, very happy. Players want to play. Players are ready to play. Kind of generic stuff, but he did look excited, so it's always a good thing for that. The next question was, you said you are happy with the work that has been done, but is Pogba the missing piece for the group? There was questions about transfers and things like that. So David Jr. says, I heard that James maybe will stay with Real Madrid. I would really like it. I don't think so, David, because there was a question about James, and let me actually get to it right now. Let me check if I can find it somewhere here. Man, oh yeah, there you go. Okay, I see it. Okay, so the question, there was a question about James, and then there was also, the journalist followed it up with Atletico de Madrid, and then Zidane, what he said is, he's currently a Real Madrid player. We'll see what happens. He's currently on vacation. He really kept it brief. He didn't say much about him. He was pretty furtive in what he had to say. He said, I can't tell you anymore. He was very, very short in what he had to say about James. So for me, it seems like he's going to be sold. And it's kind of sad. Like I said, James was so good in that 13-14 season. He was imperative to us, in that 13-14 season. He was amazing player. He's definitely got all the quality, to make it at Real Madrid. It's just Zinedine Zidane doesn't fancy him. I don't know why. Premier Paper says, I'm sure the players are excited of playing against the team that... Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Bayern Munich. Oh my gosh, it's kind of sad. But you know what? Bayern Munich, they're currently in a transition where they are rebuilding. They have to, get a few players. They lost a lot of players actually this summer. They lost, I believe, Frank Ribery, Arjen Robben, Mats Hummels, Rafinha. Okay, Rafinha is not a top player, but still a position that you have to replace. And they lost one more, and I can't remember who that is. If you guys do remember, please do let me know, because I can't remember that player. There's one more player that they lost, and I just can't remember it right now. But anyways, let's get back to the press conference. Let's see. You said you were happy with the work. Oh yeah, okay. So you said you were happy. That was the next question. You said you are happy with the work that has been done, but is Pogba the missing piece for the group? And he said, look, what I can tell you, because we always try to respect things, but what I can tell you is that the club knows what we want. We know that the transfer window stretches until the 31st for changes to be done, entering and exiting. I won't talk about it since we have to respect things, but the most important is the players that are here, the ones that have been here since the beginning. So he didn't shut the door on Paul Pogba. What do you guys think of Paul Pogba? Of course, let me know. There's different factions on Paul Pogba. I certainly think he's a top player. I would love to see him at Real Madrid. Like I said, he's the quintessential midfielder for me. He's got everything it takes to succeed here at Madrid. Yes, Christian Eriksen is the top player, but for me, Paul Pogba, when you look at him, he's a true Galactico. He is really, for me, it's like the definition of Galactico. He's just got everything. He gets you off your seat, and he's a midfielder. He gets you off your seat. It's just, I would love to see him at the club, but whether that's going to happen or not, we'll have to see. Like I said, the transfer window is a bit capricious. Sometimes we'll see one day the player's not going to go to the club, the player's not going to leave. The next day we see, the player is willing to leave the club. Both parties have agreed to a fee. So like I said, the transfer window is very, very volatile these days. And we'll have to see what happens with Paul Pogba. We just have to be patient. And he, like Zinedine Zidane said, there's until the 31st to make that happen. So we'll have to see. The next question that was asked, there was a question about Bale. And the question goes, have your perceptions on Gareth Bale changed? Does it bother you if he stays in the team? And then the answer was from Zinedine Zidane was no, because the player is not a problem. He's under contract and he's here. What I could say is that anything can happen. I have to respect all my players. He's here with us now. He's a Real Madrid player, and we'll see what happens. So he didn't say much about Gareth Bale's situation. He was pretty, I would say, short in that as well. It's similar to James, maybe not as short, but it was a bit similar to James. He just said he's under contract here at Madrid. And he said what I could say is that anything could happen. So obviously until the 31st, anything could happen in the transfer window. Gareth Bale could leave, and maybe at the moment it doesn't seem like that, especially with all the comments that his agents is making. But maybe we will see Gareth Bale leave at the end. What some of the reporters are saying is that, yeah, ostensibly it seemed like Gareth Bale might stay at the club, or it seems like that. Purportedly, it seems like that. But maybe there's other motives for Jonathan Barnett's comments. Maybe it's to condition the market a certain way. Maybe it's to have Real Madrid let him go on a free. I don't know how it's going to work, but we'll have to see. I mean, Gareth Bale, if he does stay another season, I would love to, I would like to back him. I would like to back him. Gareth Bale on his day, fantastic player. He's amazing to watch. And if we can support him, through these despondent times at Madrid, then we definitely can see the best out of him, and it's a win-win situation for us. If we support him and we see the best out of Gareth Bale, then I mean, why not have him at the club? Like I said, he's a very, very good player on his day. So the next question I want to say, let's see. Oh yeah, Hakimi. There's a question about Hakimi. We all know Hakimi's at Dortmund right now. And then the answer was, I didn't get the question. I just know it was about Hakimi. I don't think it was of much importance. But he said, Zinedine Zidane did say about Hakimi, I think he will stay at Dortmund for another year. And I think he's a good player. We know his quality. I think it will be good for him to stay at Dortmund for another year. So yeah, it's very good. I mean, Hakimi is still young. I think we have Odriozola and Carvajal in the right back position. Let's see here. We have a comment from El Chapo. El Chapo. Oh my gosh. Didn't know you were at jail. So Real Madrid need a good right wing in the same value of Eden Hazard. Yeah, that's right. I totally agree with you 100%, El Chapo. Not that I agree on too much of what you're going to say now. I'm just kidding, El Chapo. Hopefully you're doing well in jail. I don't know where you're coming from. Let's see, David Jr. Yeah, Mbappe, exactly. Oscar. Mbappe, for me, that's the player that we need here at Real Madrid. I would start Bale on the right wing. If he stays, it's a waste. Yeah, definitely. It would be such a waste for Gareth Bale, to just sit on the bench and just kind of, I don't want to say rot, that's the bad word for it, but to not use him, And Oscar says Mbappe. Yeah, Mbappe is pretty much the player that we all kind of envisioned. Obviously, a lot of players have kind of would like him at the club. But Mbappe right now, it's very, very difficult. PSG, they want him at the club. They see him as the main protagonist at the club. Neymar, is on the verge of leaving. So I don't think Neymar is gonna stay. He's looking at other clubs potentially. So Mbappe is really the next protagonist for PSG. So I think he's going to stay there at PSG for a little bit, at least for whether that's a couple seasons or one season. He will definitely stay there for a little bit more. But look, we do have a lot of players. Mbappe to Real Madrid this season, 0 out of 10 is his premier paper. Yeah, 0 out of 10 is pretty much what I think as well. I don't think he's going to come to Real Madrid. It would really, really surprise me. He's a good player. We all know he's got we all know he has the quality to play for Real Madrid. He is that good already. The only thing is just that it's just too much money financially. In the future, 100%. Yep, in the future, I agree. 100% Mbappe is coming to the club. But as of right now, financially, it's not going to happen. Oscar also says, can Benzema and Jovic play together? Yeah, they could. Of course they could. Benzema, sometimes Benzema is more of a playmaker, and Jovic, from what I've seen, is more of a finisher. He's a kind of a fox in the box. So they definitely can play together, especially, maybe in a 4-4-2. Obviously, Zidane likes playing the 4-3-3. And that's just purportedly, it always rotates. It's always changeable during the game. It could be a 4-4-2. It could be something, I don't know what Zidane has in mind this season. But yeah, definitely, they definitely can play together. Let's see here. The next question, I want to go, let's see. Zinedine Zidane was asked a question also about, another question about Pogba. He pretty much just put the media on the, back in their spot. He said, you asked me another question about Pogba, I will give you another similar answer. I don't know if I look dumb to you, but I will answer the same. What excites me is the players we have at our disposal. After this, we will see. So that's kind of funny, I think, to see that. Just putting the media back in their spot. Obviously, we don't want to be too condescending to the media. Look, at the end of the day, they do provide a lot of information to us. And we have to give the media credit. Maybe sometimes they're not right. Maybe sometimes they are wrong. But at the end of the day, that's where we get our information from. That's where we get all of our information from. And, yes, intermittently they're right. But you know what? They do get a lot of stuff right, So we do have to give them credit at the end of the day. See, El Chapo, the happiest day of my life is when Benzema not from starting 11. You mean like when he's not starting? Man. I think for me, Benzema is I know his finishing is suspect, it's dubious, but for me, Benzema is such a good player. Really, really, really. Wow, I'm surprised. Yeah, you know what? There are different factions to Benzema. Some people do like him, and some people just think he's terrible, especially when it comes to finishing. Oscar says Pogba is not good for our play style. Let me think. I don't know if you could elaborate on that. Yeah. I would like you to elaborate on that because, I kind of know what you mean, but I feel like we can assimilate to Paul Pogba's style, or he can assimilate to ours. I think he's got that world-class talent. And Oscar says Benzema is legend. For me, Benzema is just so underrated. He gets so much stick, and it's normal. I think it's normal. He does miss a lot of chances, but when you look at a lot of strikers, who doesn't miss chances? You look at Luis Suarez. And just other strikers throughout the world, they all miss a lot of chances, a lot. They do miss quite a few chances, and quite a few easy chances. And Benzema gets a lot of stake. Benzema is just so good, so good. So let's see, the other question. There was questions about Kubo also. And I think it was, let's see here. So there was a Japanese reporter that asked about Kubo. How have you seen him, that Japanese reporter asked. And then Zinedine Zidane said, good, he's a player with good quality. He's a player that will be important for Real Madrid in the future. Man, if I was Kubo, I'd be so happy with those comments. He's a player that will be important for Real Madrid in the future. I mean, wow, that says a lot, Caesar Don asks, do you think Benzema and Hazard will link up just as well as Benzema and Vinicius Jr.? I think so, Caesar. I think, they're both French, so that will help tremendously. I can't tell you, how many times, I speak a couple of different languages, so when I meet other people from, that speak the same language, I can't tell you how much it helps in terms of relations and stuff like that. It helps tremendously, and I think Eden Hazard and Benzema, they will be able to combine well together. They are a little bit, I would say, playmakers. Eden Hazard likes to build up the play as well. Benzema does as well. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I think if anything, that's good. It gives us more creativity. And in the end, yeah, I think it will be good for Real Madrid. Oscar says Kubo and Rodrigo will develop well in Castilla. Yeah, I think so. I think it's very good that they start in Castilla and they just work their way up. The best thing for them right now is just to develop. Don't be impatient about the whole situation. You will get your chance eventually, Kubo and Rodrigo. But for right now, I think they just have to be in the Castilla. That makes a lot of sense for me. So the next thing, let's see here. Kubo. There's another question about Kubo, if he's going to be used at all in the next 3 matches. And, Zinedine Zidane just said, to answer, we have all the players at our disposal. I'm not sure, and I can't tell you, sorry. So, he didn't say about whether Kubo is going to be used, but obviously Zinedine Zidane is going to be looking to experiment with the squad a lot. Real Madrid need an upgrade on midfield, says El Chapo. We can't stay like this the whole season. Yeah, definitely. I know. I've been, I've been looking at the transfer activity, and for me, the CDM position looks a bit precarious. I would like to see another CDM because, we do have Fede Valverde in that position, but under Zinedine Zidane, I saw a few good things, but can he really be the backup to Real Madrid's CDM position? I don't know. That seems a bit like big task for for a youngster like that. Caesar asks, would you like to see some time given to Lunin as goalkeeper? Wow. Let's see. You have Courtois, you have Navas. How does Lunin get into the team? Of course, I would love to see Lunin as goalkeeper. He's a very good goalkeeper. From what I saw, he looks amazing. He looks like the next big thing. Hopefully, we do see that, but it's hard when you have Courtois and Navas in front of you. But of course, I would like him, to be given more playing time. But how can you play them when you have Navas and Courtois in front? It's just tough. Alistair says, what are your thoughts on Donny van de Beek rumors? I don't know. I haven't seen much of Van de Beek. From what I've heard, he's a good player. That's all I can say. I really haven't seen much of him. But Ajax, they've done so well in that final, or not in that final, but in the Champions League run. So it could be a good option, and especially so cheap. Why not? Especially with Real Madrid. If they're looking for Paul Pogba, 150 million, getting someone cheap, Donny van de Beek, why not? Why not? I think they should do it. David Jr. says, do you think Zidane will play Isco in the starting 11 this season? It's sad to see him on the bench. Yeah, and I guess that's the thing, David. It's so hard to get everyone into the starting lineup. I guess it's good and it's bad because you see some players being ostracized from the team while other players are being played more. It does bring competition, but yeah, you do see some players getting sacrificed. Isco, we saw it. I have mixed feelings towards Isco. Sometimes I'm like, oh, we should sell him. But sometimes I'm like, he's so good. Like when I watch his stuff, I'm like, how can we sell this guy? He's amazing. And it's just like, I don't know about Isco right now. It's kind of tough. I would say, yeah, ambivalent feelings about Isco right now, or ambivalent thoughts about Isco. I'm not sure what to think of him, but hopefully we do see him in the starting 11 next season because he's still such a good player and he does make a lot of difference. Yes, he sometimes holds onto the ball too much, but I like that risk taking from Isco. I really like that. Let's see. It sucks. As Caesar says, it sucks if Isco is on the bench and he can provide something to the team, but if he can't, then he deserves the bench. Yeah, that's true, and that's what competition is there for. To get the best out of players, and if they don't really provide anything on the pitch, then the bench is going to be their option. Unfortunately, that's how it is. Premier Paper says not everyone can have a good season, get lots of playing time. It's Real Madrid. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly it. That's the thing. Some players will not have very good season, and that's just how it works, and that's why we bring in other players. It's kind of like Marcelo. He didn't have a good season last season, so we had to bring in Mendy. That's going to help Marcelo get back to the top of his game, and then obviously Mendy, he's going to be in part of this lineup quite a few times. So yeah, I think it's going to be good. Oscar says, I like the lineup. I hope it's starting 11 this season. Yeah, definitely. I think this would be a good lineup for this season. But obviously, Zinedine Zidane will be looking to change it. There's so many players here at Real Madrid, so many players at Zinedine Zidane's disposal. So hopefully we do see other kinds of permutations. Let's see. I have a few more questions about the press conference, and I think we're going to end it pretty soon. Don't worry, I won't end it right now, but just a warning here. Let's see here. So this is the reality. I have talked with all of them, and all of them know their role, what we want to do. Oh, actually, that was not even a question. That was the answer. That happens. That happens when you're live. Have you talked with all the players about exits and transfers? That was the questions. And he says, actually, Zinedine Zidane did say that, he said, yes, I did talk with all of them about their exits, their transfers, or their situation at the club. He said, this is the reality. I have talked with all of them. All of them know their role in the club and what we want to do. So, obviously when we heard that Keylor Navas was being kind of, or was going to play second fiddle to Thibaut Courtois, we know that was probably true. And some of the other stuff, Mariano probably not getting as much game time, that was probably true too. So obviously Zinedine Zidane seems to have talked to all of them at this point. Let's see here. So the next question, James to Atletico Madrid. There was a question about that, like I said earlier. And the answer was he's currently a Real Madrid player. We'll see what happens. He's currently on vacation, and I can't tell you anymore. Very, very brief from Zinedine Zidane. It was really kind of, telling, I guess, from James, the situation with James. So we'll have to see, I guess. But James is not going to stay for me. I mean, it's kind of sad because he is a good player. Of course he's a good player, but it never really worked out under Zinedine Zidane. And we've seen this throughout his tenure at Real Madrid, that when Zinedine Zidane doesn't like a player, when it doesn't go well with the player, he usually, sells them, or the player just decides to leave because it's never going to work out. So it's kind of sad, like I said. And a couple more questions. Yep. Yeah, okay, so 2 more questions, and I'm going to end it at that. I don't want to, make this stream too long because, maybe sometimes people, they don't like to watch the whole pre-recorded content, especially when it's, such an, I would say, too long. It just gets quite cumbersome. So let's see. Oscar says Mariano is a number 16 today, according to the transfer market site. Really? Wow. Well, I guess I can see that happening. I mean, Mariano, it's kind of a sad situation. Mariano was scapegoated a bit. I feel I like his tenacity. I like his hunger. I think he's a good player. If we would have had to sold Raul de Tomas or Mariano, I would have said we would have sold Mariano first. Raul de Tomas for me was a top player, ready to make it at the team. Unfortunately, we had to sell Raul de Tomas, and Mariano's mistake. But Mariano, for me, I think he's a very, very good player. I really like him. I think the only thing that maybe I don't like as much, and I don't like to say this as a bad thing, technically he doesn't seem as good as maybe I once thought. But I haven't seen much from him in Real Madrid, so we'll have to see with Mariano. But you say, I hope it's true. Well, I think it's kind of sad, actually. I mean, I like Mariano, and I hope he succeeds at Real Madrid. I think he's a pretty decent player. I mean, but yeah, Luka Jovic is a different level, I think. All right, so let's see here. Was there? Oh yeah, okay. So there was a question about Hazard, obviously, and we all know the answer to this. I mean, Hazard, I'm very happy with him. What we needed was a club like Madrid to make him better. I think that this club holds something special, and I think that's true for all players. And then Zinedine Zidane also further elaborated. I arrived at Madrid when I was 29, and I learned a lot at 29. And so Eden is similar. We know the player that he is, but he could do a lot more, and we count on that, which will be important for this season. So he's obviously just reiterating that Hazard still has a lot to learn, especially considering that he's only he's 28. He's at the prime of his career. He's at the apex. So he can still learn at Real Madrid. So I guess that's a good thing, especially that Eden Hazard is already that good and potential still there. I mean, I don't know how Zinedine Zidane's going to extract that out of him, but I guess he will. Oscar says he's pretty talented, but doesn't live up to legendary number 7. Hazard is. Yeah, I know what you mean, Oscar. You do have a good point, I have to say. I wish Mariano could live up to that. And it's just sad because, in the context of it, he wasn't in the best situation. He was in a bad season for Madrid. And unfortunately, to be usurped the number 7 shirt, it's kind of sad, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's like that. The Premier Paper says, or asks, how excited are you for the season out of 10? Gosh. Man, I don't know, like 12 out of 10? Is that good? Yeah, I'm pretty excited for this season. I think it's going to be a good season for us. Jovic and Benzema should play together, says Mohammed. Yeah, they should. Jovic is a good finisher, Benzema's a good playmaker, and he can finish too. Yeah, I would say they would. I see a partnership there. There's definitely so much potential there. It would be excellent to see. And then we're going to go with this last question here, and then I'm going to end it pretty soon. So the last question is, does it give you pleasure to oh my gosh, yeah, this last question is kind of dumb. And it was, of course, making us Americans kind of look, I don't know, shake my head, but The last question was, does it give you pleasure to see American superstars like LeBron James for their interest in ownership in other sports? Only an American can come up with that question, I guess. Oh, man, shake my head. I mean, talking about basketball and in soccer and football, whatever you want to say, I thought that was a bit silly. I didn't even write down the answer. I just thought the question was a bit silly. I mean, but anyways, I think it was like, I would say a news outlet that focuses more on how do you say it, on basketball or stuff like that, other than football, soccer, as they call it here. But that's all I have to say, guys. I think that covers pretty much the match preview. The only thing that I did want to say is that Casemiro, James, Vallejo, Militao, potentially, maybe, and Brahim Diaz are out for the game. So you won't see them in the game. And then this is going to be my starting lineup, or what I think it will be. And then obviously we will be seeing a lot of experimentation from Zinedine Zidane. So that's all I have to say, guys. Thank you so much, Oscar. I truly appreciate every one of my subscribers, and I thank you so much for subscribing. I think that's all I have for you guys today. So thank you guys all so much for tuning in, and yeah, have a good day. And I'll see you guys. Let's see, is it tomorrow? Tomorrow I won't be able to go live. That's true. Tomorrow I won't be able to go live, unfortunately. I have work, and I won't even able to watch the match. So I'll have to watch the highlights and just make a match reaction the day after. So on Saturday at 2 p.m., that's the next day I will be going live. And sorry about that, guys. It's just work is work, I guess. You got to make some money somehow. You got to make a living. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good one. Thank you.